Dear students, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is Arafat mujeeb from FEI Higher Secondary Institute. Today I am with chapter number 5. Chapter is our environment, and it is my second lecture about this chapter. And in this chapter my topics are components of ecosystem, and then is the food chain and food web. तो आज हम ये टॉपिक डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं इस चैप्टर में, और इट इज 10th बायोलॉजी. नाउ is the components of ecosystem. Components of eco, we have two components of ecosystem. One is the abiotic components, abiotic components of an ecosystem, and second one is the biotic components, biotic components of an ecosystem. Biotic components referred to as the non-living component. These are non-living components. These are non-living components, and this represents the living components of environment, of an ecosystem. Living components of an ecosystem, living components. And it in 1971, and ecologist Odom has categorized that ecosystem is a complex system. It is comprising of two components. One is abiotic components, non-living components, and other is biotic components, include living components. Non-living components क्या होते हैं? Non-living components मैं आपको यहाँ पे mention करने जा रहा हूँ. That is the that can be divided into inorganic material. Inorganic material, you know the inorganic materials. These are the cyclic materials. These are the cyclic materials. आपको पता है जब भी death होती है, when there is death of dead living organisms, plants, animals, and dead bodies of plants, animals, then on decomposition, when inorganic materials or cyclic materials क्या होते हैं? I talk about the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, I talk about the carbon, I talk about the other materials, that is the manganese, etc. These are the nutrients. These are the we can call them, these are the inorganic materials, cyclic materials. And when there is a decomposition of organic matter, decomposition of an organic matter, dead organic matter की जब क्या होती है, जब उसकी क्या होती है, decomposition, dead organic matter की जब decomposition होती है, then there is the releasing of the inorganic material, cyclic material. This is one of the component included in the non-living components, and it is then these nutrients, these cyclic material is reutilized by plants for their growth and development. These are again available on decomposition. These are again available in the soil in dissolved in form. Then they plants utilize these cyclic material for their growth and development. That means they are very important for the replenishment of the producer. That means production of that area. It is number one inorganic material we can include in a non-living component. Second is, dear students, here second component I would like to mention here. तो आपको पता है then the dead organic जो matter होता है, dead organic matter, it is composed of, yes, it is composed of proteins, shabash, it is composed of carbohydrates, it is composed of fats, तो क्या है, in their body is composed of the following, these are the organic matter, these are the organic compounds. With the help of these organic compounds, you know, the proteins are the body building nutrients, it is organic compound, energy giving organic compound, fats are energy storing compound, these are found in the bodies of the plants, animals. Also I include in the nucleic acids also include in the therefore जो अभी इससे पहले मैंने बताया इनऑर्गेनिक मटेरियल जो निकलता है on decomposition of dead organic matter, when there is a dead organic matter, it also can be included as the it can also be included as non living component, इसको भी non living component कंसिडर किया जाएगा नंबर सेकंड पॉइंट में। जो इन ऑर्गेनिक डेड ऑर्गेनिक मैटर में प्रोटीन्स होते हैं, कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स होते हैं, कॉम्प्लेक्स हम कहेंगे कॉम्प्लेक्स ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स है ये, जिनसे हमारी बॉडी बनती है और अवेलेबल होती है हमारी बॉडी में। तो जब भी इसकी डिकम्पोजिशन है देन फ्रॉम दीज इन्हीं से इनऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स बनते, जो मैंने इससे पहले बताया, नाइट्रोजन, ऑक्सीजन, पोटाशियम, कार्बन निकलना शुरू होता है। दैट मीन्स दिस इज आल्सो इंक्लूड इन as a non-living component of an ecosystem. Third point I am going to mention here. Third point, abiotic component, that is climatic factors and edaphic edaphic factors, non-living components, edaphic factors. What are these edaphic factors? तो यहाँ पे क्लाइमेटिक फैक्टर्स की हम बात कर लेंगे, टेम्परेचर की, प्रेशर, विंड, ह्यूमिडिटी, हम बात कर लेंगे रेनफॉल की। We talk about the following climatic conditions. Also is abiotic components which are responsible in creating the surrounding. इनके वजह से ही climatic factors के वजह से ही they check the diversification in the living organisms. इनके कारण एक climatic factors के कारण ही वहाँ soil formation takes place, rainfall intensity, then temperature, moderate temperature, temperate zones, tropical zones. I can say that they can be judged by the temperature, pressure, their humidity, rainfall. These are we can also the wind. These are the following climatic factors that we consider in a abiotic part of an ecosystem. Edaphic factor में जो आता है, edaphic factors are those factors which are responsible for the soil formation. जो edaphic factors होता है, that those factors which are essential for the formation of soil, because soil is also an important part of the abiotic component. Because of rainfall there is water. Water, when there is water is also abiotic component, and due to the temperature, pressure, there is a regulation of hydrological cycle, because temperature at high temperature there is rate of evaporation, at the low temperature there is condensation process, cloud formation, then there is a precipitation. That means these factors are responsible in the cycling, in causing the biogeochemical cycle जितने भी होते हैं वो इन climatic factors पे dependent है. So soil formation is important. There are various variety of soil, red soil, mountain soil, alluvial soil, the black soil. Various types of soils are present, which depend which judges the diversity in living organism. कौन सा organism कैसे adapt हो सकता है यहाँ. तो बिल्कुल अलग अलग टेरेस, अलग अलग हैबिटेट में अलग अलग सॉइल का टेक्सचर होता है. सॉइल स्ट्रक्चर वेरीज and the climatic addition, climatic factors, they are not remains constant to a given surrounding, not remains constant. If sometime they become drastic, they become harsh to the survival of living organisms. They judge the number, growth of the population of those organisms. वो check किया जाता है climatic factors, limits the organisms, the population growth, the adaptation. If we have if we adapt well ourselves to the conditions, and that climatic conditions, that climatic factors should suit for our survival. हमारे survival के लिए वो suitable होना चाहिए. तो therefore we should adapt, हमें वैसे adapt करना होता है. We should bring the adaptive features to stand against these climatic factors. Climatic factors, soil formation. When there is soil form, there is a soil due to the adaptive factors. These are all the abiotic components. Now this is the abiotic. Now is the living components. Living components की बात हम कर लेंगे. They are in, I talk about the plants, I talk about the animals, I talk about the microorganisms. These are the living components of living components of an living components known as the abiotic components of an ecosystem. तो बायोटिक कंपोनेंट की बात हम करेंगे, चाहे प्लांट्स, एनिमल्स, हम कलेक्टिवली कहेंगे some organisms on the basis of their mode of nutrition, on the basis of mode of nutrition. Now my discussion is now totally on the biotic components. Mode, on the basis of mode of nutrition, on which food type they feed. There are the two autotrophic mode of autotrophic nutrition. But there is also heterotrophic nutrition. Heterotrophic न्यूट्रिशन. आपको पता ही ऑटोट्रॉफिक मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन में लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म अपना खाना खुद सिंथेसाइज करता है इन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ सनलाइट. देयर इज अ प्रोसेस फोटोसिंथेसिस. Autotrophic mode of nutrition. Those organisms which have autotrophic mode of nutrition, they are known as the producers. और ये क्या बनाते हैं? They form the first trophic level in a food chain. They form the first trophic level, है ना. तो they form the first trophic level. एग्जाम्पल आएंगे इनमें, शाबाश. What example include in the plants? को autotrophic mode of living components की बात हम कर लेंगे. On the basis of nutrition, they have autotrophic mode of nutrition. Autotrophic mode of nutrition, simply called as producers. They form the first trophic level in a food chain, and the example are the plants. That is a photosynthetic bacteria, cyanobacteria, algae are included in this autotrophic mode of nutrition. Organisms having autotrophic mode of nutrition are known as autotrophs. Biotic components की बात चल रही है. तो ये प्रोड्यूसर्स जो फर्स्ट ट्रॉफिक लेवल प्लांट्स मैंने कहा, इनमें ऑटोट्रॉफिक मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन, दे डायरेक्टली are associated with sunlight, solar energy. Sun is a biotic component of an ecosystem and major source of heat and light. अगर हम hetero nutrition की बात हम कर लेंगे, on the basis of heterotrophic nutrition, we have a primary consumers. They form primary consumers. We have secondary consumers. समझ में आ रहा है ना बेटा? We have the tertiary consumers. अगर हम बात कर लेंगे प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर्स की इन अ फूड चेन, this form producers always at the first trophic level, they form the second trophic level, they form the third trophic level in the food chain, and this form the fourth trophic level tertiary. They are the top consumers, also known as primary consumer. Up we directly feed upon the producers, I mean the plants is the deer, and इसमें secondary consumer में example आएगा, you take the tiger, and when there is a death of the tiger, tertiary consumer में आएगा hawk, it is a hawk, vulture, they are the top consumers. So that means heterotrophic nutrition can be further categorized them into the what type of food they eat. Some of primary consumer जो होते हैं वो herbivores होते हैं, herbivores है ना, they feed directly on the grass plants. Secondary consumers इसमें है, secondary consumers इसमें जो है थर्ड में secondary consumers, they are known as the carnivorous. They feed on, they only eat the flesh of the primary consumers in a food chain directly or indirectly. And fourth one is the tertiary consumers, they are also the top carnivores, they are known as the top carnivores. That is the they are usually the scavengers, इसमें आते हैं top carnivores. So this is the about the biotic components. I categorize biotic component how on the basis of nutrition, on the basis of feeding habitat. They have been categorized major into autotrophic, heterotrophic. Mode of heterotrophic have the following types of organisms, following types of biota you can see in the biotic component: primary consumers, secondary and tertiary consumers. Primary are known as herbivores, secondary consumers are known as carnivores, and tertiary consumers are known as top carnivores in a food chain. This is about the biotic component. Dear students, now इनको कौन बुला पाएंगे? They play important role. Microorganisms play important role in the food chain. That means they are, by function, they are known as the decomposers. As decompose, they decompose organic, dead organic matter, dead organic matter. As the decomposer microbes, I majorly talk about the bacteria and fungi. फंगी की बात हम कर लेंगे, बैक्टीरिया एंड फंगी की बात हम कर लेंगे. दे डिकम्पोज द डेड ऑर्गेनिक मैटर. अभी मैंने बताया जो डेड ऑर्गेनिक मैटर है, दे आर रिच इन द कॉम्प्लेक्स ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स, प्रोटीन्स, कॉम्प्लेक्स कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स, कॉम्प्लेक्स लिपिड्स, कॉम्प्लेक्स न्यूक्लिक एसिड्स. तो उनको डिकम्पोज करते हैं, डिग्रेड करते हैं, और दे मेक बिकॉज ऑफ दिस डिकम्पोजर दे मेक द फ्री अवेलेबिलिटी of inorganic nutrients, nutrients in soil. Then they are again reutilized by the plants, by the producer for their growth. And always every food chain is started by the producers. They are the primary productivity as represent in a food chain. If their number is huge, then the food chain is stable in an ecosystem. That means microorganisms play important role in environment. In view of environment, they keep our environment green, clean, and they decompose. By decomposing the dead organic matter, if the dead organic matter of plants, animals, and their human excreta, sewage, other wastes, if they are not properly decomposed by the decomposer, then this whole the area would be polluted and will be full of the smell, full smell. There would be all the air, water, and soil will be polluted at all. Therefore it is an important, so microorganisms play important role in decomposing the organic matter, as they make the free availability of inorganic matter, then reutilized by the plants for their growth and development. Important role in the water bodies. These decomposers are found in water bodies, inside the soil, in the air. They are available. I talk about these then. Also, I will include in them the scavengers. Scavenger जो होते हैं, they feed on, they feed upon remaining foods. They feed on remains dead bodies. जो dead bodies रहती है plants animals की, उन पे, या animals की जो dead bodies रहती है, जो कभी कभार मतलब प्रेडेटर उसको पूरा नहीं खा पाता, फिर वो बच्चा खच्चा रह जाता, उससे भी हमारा वातावरण खराब हो सकता है, वहाँ का हवा, वहाँ का पानी, वहाँ की मिट्टी खराब हो सकती है। तो उसको पूरा खाने के लिए ये स्कैवेंजर्स अवेलेबल होते, दे प्ले आल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट रोल, एडिशनल रोल इन वेव ऑफ द environment, and these are also their biotic components. And now we will move ahead in this year. Now it was about the components of ecosystem. Now I will take the topic here, food chain and food web. Here, food chain, and it is the food web. फूड चेन और फूड वेब. फूड चेन क्या होता है? फूड चेन, हर एक इकोसिस्टम में there are the variable ecosystems. In variable ecosystem there is a definite food chain, grassland food chain, there is the forest food chain, there is the aquatic food chain, there is the detritivorous food chain, where various they have mountain food chain, various available in the where it is a sequence of, how we define it, is the sequence of organism. It is a sequence of organisms that eats to each other in order to obtain food energy, energy. ये याद रखिए, in order to obtain the food energy. हम क्या कहेंगे, what is the food chain? It is a sequence of organisms that eats to each other in order to obtain food energy. और इनकी एक सीक्वेंस होती है, organisms हम कहेंगे sequence of organism in a trophic level. In a trophic level में organisms हो सकते हैं जिसमें वो क्या करते हैं, वो आपस में खाते हैं, eats to each other in order to obtain the food energy. Always हम लिखेंगे there is always unidirectional flow of energy. तो हम कहेंगे फूड चेन में आता है who eats to whom, कौन किसको खा रहा है. याद रखिए क्या है ये, who eats to whom. तो यहाँ पे हमें फूड चेन में in a given ecosystem, it is a pattern, it is a sequential order of organisms. In a trophic level there is separate trophic levels at which a particular organism obtain its food, and they they feed to each other in order to obtain the energy. Energy is used to do work. There is always important point, unidirectional flow of energy. I will explain this thing with the help of an example. आप मान लीजिए, I will take the grassland. In a grassland ecosystem, there is a grassland food chain. Grassland food chain. In this food chain, it is a fundamental chain. In a food chain, start, and the producers are the grass. Grass, it is the producer. It always the, and these food producers always utilize the solar energy, sun's energy. They utilize in order to obtain the solar energy. There is a connection between abiotic and biotic organisms. Then this grass, as the producers in a food chain, they form the first trophic level. Then they are fed by the primary consumer. Primary consumer, I mean the deer. Deer feed on, it makes the second trophic level here, and then primary consumer is eaten by the secondary consumer. Secondary consumer, I mean here the tiger. It forms the third trophic level, and this is eaten by the tertiary consumer. Tertiary consumer. This tertiary consumer, as I will take the hawk. It is a top carnivore. Hawk feed on the tiger when it is that take place. It is the fourth trophic level. आप देखिए, there is a separate trophic level. Food chain को explain करने जा रहा. First trophic level, then this is second trophic, this is third trophic level, this is at each trophic level, organism obtain food. It obtain food here when it eat here. When it feed, it eats here. It eats here. There is a flow of energy. When primary consumer feed on the grass, they obtain the producer's energy. When secondary consumer feed on the primary consumer, they obtain the primary consumer's energy. And when tertiary consumers feed on secondary consumers, they obtain the secondary consumers energy. These are the top consumers. In a food chain, there is a unidirectional flow of energy from producers to the top consumers to the tertiary consumers. In a food chain, there is a sequence of organisms in a food sequence of organisms in a trophic level. First trophic level, then this is the second sequence of primary consumer. This is the third sequence of secondary consumers in a third trophical level. Trophic level of the steps where a particular type of organisms obtain energy by eating other organisms that is adjacent to it. Then tertiary organisms feed upon these organisms and obtain the energy. There is a separate trophic levels. At each trophic level, there could be a one organism in a trophic level or number of organisms, a group of organisms. इस ट्रॉफिक लेवल में एक ऑर्गेनिज्म भी हो सकता है, ग्रुप ऑफ ऑर्गेनिजम्स भी हो सकता है, which feeds on the gross population. Secondary consumers feeds on the primary consumers population. इस तरह के एक एनर्जी फ्लो होती है. यहाँ पे मैं इम्पोर्टेंट लिखने जा रहा हूँ. दिस इज अ fundamental food chain represent fundamental. It is a we can say graphical representation. It is a fundamental chain of flow of energy. कौन सा fundamental chain of flow of energy here is unidirectional. It represents unidirectional flow of energy take place in a food chain. In a food web, this is a one setup there. In a food web, there is network of side food chains. Then there is a multiple flow of food energy in multiple ways. In a food chain, organism is much more stable and has various options to obtain the food in different ways. And it is base in a ecosystem. It is a basic fundamental chain in a ecosystem. How there is an interaction between the organisms एट डिफरेंट ट्रॉफिक लेवल्स में किस तरह की इंटरेक्शन वहाँ है, यहाँ किस हिसाब से इंटरेक्शन है, यहाँ फूड रिलेशनशिप है, वन ऑर्गेनिज्म फीड्स ऑन अदर ऑर्गेनिज्म इन ऑर्डर टू obtain energy. Then here is the food eating relationship in an ecosystem. It is a fundamental chain which understand us that what is the function, what function takes place, what interaction takes place in an ecosystem. It is one of the ecosystem in means of food chain. If we study the food chain, we understand the function take place in an ecosystem, in a given ecosystem. This is there is a flow of the energy in a food chain. Now is the concept of the in a food chain here. If we take the in a same grassland ecosystem, there is grass. Yeah, I will say here the food web in grassland, food web in a grassland. Web means network. If I start the food chain by the grass are producers of food, and then they directly utilize the solar energy here. This grass is eaten by the rabbit, is a herbivore. It is eaten by the hawk, top consumer. Then this grass, sometimes the grains in the form of grain are feed by rat is feed by the snake. Snake is eat by the this is again eat, this snake is again eat. Here is the first chain, it is the second chain. That means in a food web there is a number of food chains which are interconnected, interconnected. Has there is a many options. And sometimes here we can say rabbit is also eaten by the snake. It is also eaten by the snake, है ना. अब स्नेक के पास दो ऑप्शन आ गए, एक तो इसने रैट पे भी फीड कर सकता है इन एन इकोसिस्टम, और ये इन गिवन ये रैबिट पे भी फीड कर, है ना. मल्टीपल चांस रहा ना, इस स्नेक का मल्टीपल चांस रहा. तो फूड चेन गिव्स स्टेबिलिटी इन एन इकोसिस्टम. इट प्रोवाइड्स द स्टेबिलिटी इन एन इकोसिस्टम. स्टेबिलिटी जितना फूड चेन में नेटवर्क जितना when there is a most number of food chains, there is most stability in that ecosystem. This grass is eaten by the deer, and then deer is eaten by tiger. This tiger is again eaten by this hawk. Then we again can say that sometimes the tiger eat the rabbit. It feeds sometimes the rabbit. Here it is also, we can say here the sometimes the grass is eaten by the grasshopper. This grasshopper, it is first, second, it is the third food chain, it is the fourth food chain, it is the fifth food chain here in this way. In this way it is fourth, in this way the third, it is the fifth, it is the sixth food chain, grasshopper. Then this grasshopper is fed by the frog. This frog is fed by the snake. It is fed by snake, and then snake is eaten by the hawk. Then here is a food web. Here is a number of in a food web there is multiple number of food chains. When the food chains are interconnected, when there is interconnected, then the organisms have option to feed on different organisms. तो यहाँ पे एक स्टेबिलिटी रहती है. Then there is a multiple flow of, in a food chain there is multiple flow of multiple direction of flow of food energies. फूड वेब में इस तरह का मैंने यहाँ पे आपको फूड वेब के बारे में बताया. तो यहाँ ये फूड वेब जो है, देयर इज अ नेटवर्क. नाउ आई टॉक अबाउट द ट्रॉफिक लेवल्स इन अ फूड चेन या फूड वेब में भी अलग अलग ट्रॉफिक लेवल्स होता है. जैसे रिप्रेजेंट द फर्स्ट ट्रॉफिक लेवल. this represent the second trophic level, this second trophic level, this represent the third trophic level, है ना। इसी तरह से फर्स्ट ये आया सेकंड ट्रॉफिक लेवल, और सेकंड ये थर्ड ट्रॉफिक लेवल आया, ये फोर्थ ला। जितना फूड चेन शॉर्टर होगा उतना देयर इज अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ फूड एनर्जी, क्योंकि हर एक ट्रॉफिक लेवल में there is a full of energy. 80 to 90% energy is lost in the surrounding. Only 10% of energy is flowing in the other trophic level, in the next trophic levels. What is the trophic level? And trophic level represent the separate group of organisms. Here we can say, here the concept of trophic levels, and it is applied in a food chain, also in a food web. ट्रॉफिक लेवल्स बात हम कर देंगे। देयर इज अ ट्रॉफिक लेवल, फर्स्ट ट्रॉफिक लेवल फर्स्ट, जिसमें क्या आते हैं शाबा, इंक्लूड द शाबा प्रोड्यूसर्स आई मीन द प्लांट्स। एंड देयर इज द अनदर ट्रॉफिक लेवल जिसमें सेकंड ट्रॉफिक लेवल जिसमें हर्बिवोर्स आते हैं। Then there is a trophic level third, जिसमें क्या आते हैं प्राइमरी, then carnivores। तो then is a trophic level fourth, there include the top carnivores। इनको हम कहते हैं प्रोड्यूसर्स, हाँ, प्राइमरी प्रोडक्शन ऑफ फूड। हर्बीवोरस प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर भी कहोगे, कार्निवोरस सेकेंडरी कंज्यूमर को, टॉप कार्निवोरस हाँ टेरिशरी कंज्यूमर्स भी कहोगे। ये ट्रॉफिक लेवल्स क्या होते हैं? दीज आर द स्टेप्स इन अ फूड चेन, What are trophic level? What is the trophic levels? What are trophic? These are the steps in a food chain at which group of organisms obtain. It is food organisms obtain it is shabash food material. And what food material give us shabash? Food material give us energy. And energy is utilized to show different metabolic activities. These are the separate trophic levels. They are, जितने फूड चेन में ट्रॉफिक लेवल्स कम होंगे उतना फूड चेन एनर्जी रिच होती है, उतना ऑर्गेनिज्म अच्छा खासा एनर्जी हासिल कर लेगा। अकॉर्डिंग टू 10% रूल, only 10% of the total food energy is transferred into the next trophic level only, and that 80 and 90% is lost to the surrounding, and it is never obtained. It lost in the surrounding areas as with various metabolic activities, respiration, excretion, inhalation, exhalation process के कारण एनर्जी लॉस्ट होती है, या शो द मैकेनिकल मोमेंट्स उसके कारण एनर्जी लॉस्ट होती है। तो बाकी जो बचा खचा 10% रहती है वही ट्रांसफर हो जाती है फ्रॉम फर्स्ट ट्रॉफिक लेवल, सेकंड, थर्ड एंड फोर्थ। अगर एग्जाम में ऐसा कुछ क्वेश्चन होता है इनमें से कौन सा ट्रॉफिक लेवल डायरेक्टली रिलेटेड है सोलर एनर्जी, दैट इज द ट्रॉफिक लेवल फर्स्ट। प्रोड्यूसर्स आर द प्लांट्स। वो ट्रॉफिक लेवल सब आपको समझ में आया होगा। तो इस ट्रॉफिक लेवल फर्स्ट में प्रोड्यूसर्स आते हैं, देन देयर इज अ कनेक्टिंग लिंक, देन इज द हर्बिवोर्स, देन इज द कार्निवोर्स, देन इज द टॉप कार्निवोर्स। इट इज रिप्रेजेंट द फोर्थ ट्रॉफिक लेवल। ज्यादा से ज्यादा फूड चेन 4 या 5 स्टेप्स की हो सकती है, तो नॉट मोर देन 4 और 5 स्टेप्स, क्योंकि वहाँ पे फिर आखिरकार ये अच्छा खासा खाना नहीं रहता है। तो अब हम इस ट्रॉफिक फूड चेन को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं ऐसे पैरामिड फॉर्म में। ऑलवेज द फूड चेन इज ऑलवेज द अपराइट। तो हम इस तरह इसको रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं। ये पैरामिड है, इसमें एक बेस होती है, वो होता है ब्रॉड बेस होती है। pyramid, it has an apex, और मैं अभी फर्स्ट ट्रॉफिक लेवल पे, जो फर्स्ट ट्रॉफिक लेवल, दे आर ह्यूज इन नंबर एंड शुड बी ह्यूज इन नंबर, दे रिप्रेजेंट द प्रोड्यूसर्स। तो मैंने फूड चेन को ग्राफिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन दी, प्रोड्यूसर्स, हाँ, इट फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट ट्रॉफिक लेवल, देन इज द, हाँ, इससे देखिए इनका नंबर भी कम है, होना भी चाहिए ताकि कंपटीशन रिड्यूस करे। तो यहाँ पे प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर्स आते हैं, प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर्स। तो ये सेकंड ट्रॉफिक लेवल रिप्रेजेंट करती है, इट रिप्रेजेंट द सेकंड ट्रॉफिक। देन इज द थर्ड, हियर इनका नंबर इनसे कम है, ग्राफ से कुछ पता चलता हमें, दे आर द सेकेंडरी consumers, huh? They represent the third trophic level, secondary. Then there is the top consumers, top consumers, it represent the fourth trophic level. Then there, अगर हम नीचे से ऊपर जाएंगे, बेस टू टॉप, यहाँ हम अगर हम बेस टू टॉप जाएंगे, देन एनर्जी फ्लो जो होती है, फ्लो ऑफ एनर्जी वो रिड्यूस होती है। एनर्जी जो होती है, एनर्जी फ्लो जो होती है वो रिड्यूस हो जाती है, एनर्जी फ्लो इज लो, हाँ। और जो नंबर ऑफ सीपी, अगर हम यहाँ से टॉप टू बॉटम आएंगे, यहाँ पे जो एनर्जी फ्लो होगी, एनर्जी फ्लो इन द फॉर्म ऑफ फूड, वो क्या होगा, वो हाई होगा। तो अब किन के पास ज्यादा एनर्जी होती है इस ग्राफ, इट इज अ ग्राफिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ फूड चेन, ग्राफिकल representation of food chain. In any ecosystem, there is always a upright food chain, energy upright. It is always upright. Food chain is always upright in any ecosystem, in any ecosystem. Dear students, this is the producers, this is the primary consumers. You say in the form of pyramid, there is the apex, and at the apex there are the top consumers, and at the base are always represented by the producers, and producers number should be high, abundant, as these are the providers of food, these are the supporters, they support the food chain, and these they form hence the base is the base of the pyramid is the broader, and it is larger in size rather than the other trophic levels. If it is a graphical representation of food chain, include the different organisms. As we talk about the trophic levels, here I mentioned the first trophic level, then is the second trophic level, this is represent the third trophic level, this represent the fourth trophic level. Trophic levels are the setups or stages at where the particular group of organisms obtains its energy, and each and every trophic level, yes, of course, there is a loss of energy in the form of heat to the surroundings when there is a transfer of energy from one trophic level into another, one trophic level into another, there is the energy lost. Here energy lost is E1, here energy lost is E2, here energy lost is E3, here E1 is greater than E2, here E2 is greater than E3. आप किनके पास ज्यादा एनर्जी है, E1 के पास। नाउ हियर एनर्जी, जब भी यहाँ एनर्जी लॉस हो गई, E1 एनर्जी लॉस्ट हो गई, यहाँ पे E2 एनर्जी लॉस्ट हो गई, और इस थर्ड टू फोर्थ ट्रॉफिक लेवल में एनर्जी थर्ड लॉस्ट हो गई। मैंने जनरलाइज में बता रहा हूँ, जनरल फॉर्म में बता रहा हूँ कि एनर्जी इज लॉस्ट हियर, इट इज लॉस्ट इन द सराउंडिंग। Dear students, it is all about today's topic is components of ecosystem and food chain, food chain. What is food chain, food web, and how you define the trophic levels. How in a food chain, food web, there is a full of energy. How in a food web there is a stability, and each and every organisms at a particular trophic level have many options in a food web, and can obtain energy in different ways, different forms, in different directions, and there is much more there is much more stability in the way of in an ecosystem. I hope you understand about it. Thank you very much.